Alright, let's get to it. Hello everybody, welcome back to my series of Ninjago episode review live streams. In today's stream we're talking about episode 73 of Ninjago, probably has the longest title in Ninjago history. It's called Out of the Fire and Into the Boiling Sea. Quite a mouthful, I could barely fit that entire title in the title of this stream. Speaking of titles, yes, Spider-Man 3 officially has a title. It's called No Way Home, officially. So yeah, I saw that, it looks awesome. Some of you guys have already been sending that in the chat. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone joining us here today. In case you guys have not been to one of these streams before, this is how it works. We stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, with an episode review and a Q&A. The episode review will probably take up maybe the first 20, 25-ish minutes of the stream. Then we'll jump into Q&A pretty much following that. We will update this day by day. If there's ever a day where I can't stream, I will let you guys know via my community tab. Again, quite the mouthful with that Ninjago title. Quite a long one. It's one of the most obnoxious titles ever, in my opinion. But hey, it is accurate to this episode. In terms of what's going to be going on with this review, we're going to be breaking down the plot, the good, the bad, and then giving it a score out of 10. We are going to let the episode pictures run in the background as we discuss all of those aforementioned things. In terms of a drink, I had it here somewhere. We have a blue Gatorade this time, not a red one. So switching it up a little bit. We can definitely get into more non-Ninjago stuff when we eventually do reach the Q&A section. In the meantime, let's go ahead and break down this episode. I'm kind of excited for this one. Rewatching it last night, it was actually a lot better than what I had expected it to be. It's a lot better than what I remembered it to be. So let's go ahead and get to it. So, starting off this episode, the group basically reaches the Boiling Sea, the group consisting of Rei, Maya, Kai, Nia, and Achronix and Crux. Basically two families. Oh, and Maki is there too, and Master Wu. It's a pretty big group. But yeah, it's basically two families against each other. Basically what they need to do is they need to use Kai and Nia to go under the Boiling Sea and pick up the fourth time blade, the reversal blade, because only masters of water and fire can reach there. So using the dragon blade, the ninja do just that. They summon the two-headed dragon and decide to, just go down into the Boiling Sea. Aforementioned Boiling Sea. It's actually a pretty cool location. I love the Boiling Sea as it is. It's kind of like a mix between fire and water, like the two rawest elements together. I thought that was a really cool description and presentation of that, of that location. I think we should totally revisit again as well. Then we cut to the other ninja who decide that the only way they can win this battle is to retreat. So the four ninja team consisting of Cole, Jay, Zane, and Lloyd decide to escape, but they soon decide to turn back around once Zane actually has a visual on Cyrus Borg. So their main objective here is to steal Borg, and that's obviously what they're going to try to be doing. Re-steal him back from the Time Twins and bring him to the surface and rescue him. They've already freed a lot of other citizens. The only, loose ends, if you will, are Borg and Sensei Wu. So that's that. The ninja, Kai and Nia, use the fusion dragon, as I said, to reach the bottom of the sea, and they actually make their way through a mysterious temple that sits at the bottom of the Boiling Sea. Now, this has a lot of different traps and various other things throughout the temple that Maya had previously warned them about. Basically, they need to work together in order to navigate this temple, if you will. They need to work together. The elements of fire and water need to be combined in order for them to be successful in this mission, and that's exactly what they're trying to do here. The ninja, back in the Vermilion Swamp, decide to disguise themselves as Vermilion, because we haven't seen the ninja disguise themselves as villains at all. And they decide to use that to get close to rescue Borg. Unfortunately for them, they do find Borg. That's the fortunate part. Unfortunately, Borg decides that now is a good time to fight back and proceeds to attack the ninja disguised as Vermilion. Now, of course, if I was in Borg's position, I would totally attack them as well, because at that point I probably would have just had enough of this. I would have gotten tired of that. But the disguises aren't all that great. That usually is how it goes for the ninja. The disguises aren't always that great, for the ninja whenever they disguise themselves as villains, and you could totally see their faces and whatnot. Borg apparently is kind of oblivious to that, but still decides to attack them anyway. I honestly don't think that's that big of a deal. It's clear that Borg just wants revenge, and I think that's awesome. Yeah, Cyrus Borg is definitely a really good part of this episode for sure. But yeah, after that, the ninja actually reveal themselves to Borg, and Borg reveals what he's been working on. It's called the Iron Doom. It's basically a large mech for the Time Twins to travel through time, and Borg was kind of forced to, build it. So the ninja need to disable it. That's their next step. They have a code. Borg has a code that he can use to disable the Iron Doom before Chronix and Crux can actually use it, and the ninja need to get Borg to the Iron Doom and get him to type in the code, and that will disable the plan. So that's the ninja's next step, basically. And it's easier said than done, of course. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where we were. I guess what we'll do is just kind of talk about this storyline and then jump back to Cayenne. We'll kind of do that and then jump back into the Cayenne storyline, because the code, or not the code, the actual episode just kind of jumps all over the place in terms of these two plots. So what we'll do is we'll just talk about the Vermilion Ninja plot and then jump back to Cayenne after it's all said and done. Eventually those two paths will cross over. It'll be easy when I start to explain it. So eventually Borg has a code to disable it. They decide to get Borg to the Iron Doom. Unfortunately for them, they can't use stealth because Jay actually blew their cover by speaking. Thanks, Jay. And of course, a big battle breaks out between the ninja and the Vermilion. It seems like the ninja are not going to be able to get Borg to the actual Iron Doom itself, but then Samurai X appears and decides to help out the ninja. That's cool. Samurai X is always a pleasant surprise, and in this season we still don't know who Samurai X is. Of course, we as an audience know that it's Pixel nowadays, but back then we didn't really have an exact, I guess, answer as to what it is, so that's fun. Samurai X arriving, acting like the ninja don't matter. Yeah, she basically just shows up and, just wants to carry on her own business, kind of, I guess, similar to what Samurai X used to be like when Nia first took on the role. But, Samurai X decides to fight back, and once Zane kind of informs her on the situation, she decides to get Borg to the Iron Doom herself, challenge accepted. That's always fun. Borg decides to try to activate the code there, and that's pretty much it. He can't remember it, though, unfortunately, but Zane, fortunately, does know what it is. It's a very long sequence, and the sequence does kind of line up with the first, I guess, coding for Nindroids, whatever they said there. So it's basically the same number. Zane knows it, Pixel knows it, so they're able to go ahead and type it in from there. Now we can go ahead and jump back to the Cayenne story. Cayenne find themselves basically navigating the tomb, making their way down various passages and trying to make their way through it, but they actually do come across a couple of lava monsters and they decide to fight them. They easily defeat them, though, by combining their two elemental powers, fire and water. They easily break them down and decide to go even further. Eventually they do find a door. They they conveniently use the dragon blade to open the door, almost like a key. They find the reversal blade and they get out of there pretty easily using the fusion dragon as means to escape. That's cool. I think it's just any generic Nindroid code, but Zane would of course know it because, Zane's a Nindroid. He's not built from Borg technology, but I imagine he's smart enough to, still know it. So that's that. But yeah, moving on with the plot, they use the Dragon Blade to get back on board the weird Achronix and Crux Zeppelin thing, and Achronix and Crux reveal to them that, hey, guess what? We're betraying you. Wow, shocker. Totally didn't see that one coming. But eventually a fight does break out on board the Zeppelin for the blades. Rey is hit by the reversal blade, or not the reversal blade, the fast forward blade, similar to how Wu got hit with the time punch. So that's that. No, Zane was not built from Borg technology, but I imagine he would, know a lot about it. So if I said that he was built from Borg technology, that's not what that's obviously not true. Unless you want to consider him rebuilding himself in the titanium form as being built with Borg technology, which he was built on Borg Industries, so could be. But yeah, Ray got hit by the time punch, and the Chronix and Crux managed to steal back the reversal blade. Now they have all four of them. They pause the ninja and kind of leave them for dead. Of course, the main plan was to get the reversal blade to reverse Master Wu and cure him, but Chronix and Crux have other plans. They decide to drive back to the Vermilion Swamp, and Kaya and Nia decide to use the Fusion Dragon to save everybody that's falling, of course, from falling into the boiling sea, and they use the Fusion Dragon to basically catch up with the Chronix and Crux. This is where the two storylines finally collide. The pause, not the pause, yeah, the pause blade. The pause blade is used on Zane, Pixel, and Borg once the Chronix and Crux make their way back. They're only one digit away from disabling the Iron Doom. Obviously, not super great for the ninja. Kai and Nia show up and decide to follow them into the time vortex that was just created, and that's essentially where the episode ends, with the Chronix and Crux reversing, or not reversing, but successfully opening a time vortex, and Kai and Nia decide to follow them with the Fusion Dragon. That was a mouthful. That was a lot. There's a lot to break down in this episode, but finally, the plot is complete. That's essentially what goes on in this episode, and I thought that it was pretty cool. In terms of good and bad, I kind of want to get into this because I got a lot of good to talk about. I have a feeling this one's going to be going on for quite a while. So in terms of good stuff, I got a lot of stuff written down here. The boiling sea is fantastic. I really do love the boiling sea. I think that's awesome. Next up with another 199 donation. Thank you very much. Card game on motorcycles. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Sounds like fun though. But thank you, Next up, for the donation. But yeah, the Boiling Sea, great location. I think we should totally revisit it again. It's definitely it definitely has a lot of good surrounding it. The mix of fire and water is absolutely fantastic. I love how that's represented here. The Boiling Sea is overall one of the best locations that I've seen from Ninjago in a minute. Definitely Hands of Time, one of the best Hands of Time locations for sure. In terms of whether or not it'll be referenced in season 15, I hope so. I hope that might be, I hope that's a location that they need to visit. We know that they're going to be visiting several underwater locations. Maybe they'll make their way back to this. Who's to say? I also really enjoy the family dynamic here, the battles between the two families, between Kai's family, Kai and Nia's family, as well as Chronix and Crux. That's a really good thing. Is slow mode on, like for the chat? I thought it was. Let me try something really quick. Let me see if this works. Because I thought that slow mode was on, but it might not be. There we go. Let's try that. We'll try to see if that works. Okay, so going back to it, the family battle was actually super fun. I liked that dynamic. The family contrast is absolutely fantastic between the two families, and the battle is really fun. Okay, a lot of folks are saying that it was on. All right, fair enough. I just didn't know if it was on or not. I thought some of the messages were coming a little too quickly. So now there's only 14 seconds instead of 15. How about that? But yeah, I also really enjoyed the Fusion Dragon. I thought that was cool. Seeing Kai and Nia ride the Fusion Dragon, I thought was super fun. Definitely a little different than the original Fusion Dragon that we had seen from Jay and Nia last season. Now we actually get like a genuine Fusion Dragon, a two-headed dragon made of fire and water. It's a pretty cool looking dragon. I love the Dragon Blade as well being used to activate it. All in all, it just makes for a lot of fun. It creates a really fun dynamic between Kai and Nia, and that does kind of play into their teamwork as well, which is the next thing on my list. Their teamwork is absolutely stellar in this episode. Of course, being members of Fire and Water, they do need to work together to navigate their way through this undersea temple. I thought that was fun, seeing them team up together. And I thought Kai was a little, arrogant, but then again, when isn't he? I feel like Nia carries a lot of the same traits because, of course, they do come from the same family. Moving away from Kai and Nia and Chronix and Crux, I need to talk about Borg for a second. I really love Cyrus Borg in this episode. I think he's really cool. He's definitely a lot better than what he has been in other Hands of Time episodes thus far. He actually stands up for himself, which is really cool. It's fun to see Cyrus Borg actually, put in some work and try to attack the ninja, even though the ninja are, disguised as Vermilion. I just thought it was super fun. Why did Borg make the deactivation code so long? Not sure, man. I think he just did it because, he wants to be safe and secure for some reason. I don't know why he would make the deactivation code super long, though. You would think that he would make an activation code really long. Maybe it's the same code. Who knows? But no, I really liked Borg in this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. What a little bundle of joy Cyrus Borg is. Definitely a super fun character to revisit. Also, the ninja working with him is also good. We got to see Samurai X team up with him as well, and that dynamic created a really fun story. I will say, both of the stories that go on in this episode are very good, very solid. I love the Kai and Nia story, and I love the ninja teaming up with Borg story along with Samurai X. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, Cyrus Borg almost killed Jay. I love how he immediately goes for Jay as well. It's just the cherry on top of the cake. But yeah, I thought that storyline was really good. Both the stories are really fantastic in this episode, and we now have all of the Time Blades as well. All 4 Time Blades are now here. Finally, after 9 episodes of Hands of Time, we finally find all 4 Time Blades. But hey, at least they're going to be here for the season finale. In terms of bad stuff, I don't have a lot to talk about. Just had a couple of minor things. First of all, as I mentioned in my previous review of this episode, way back in 2017, the betrayal is way too obvious. I think all of us saw it coming, and I don't think that Kai and Nia really, they should have seen it coming a lot more. Obviously, they should have immediately gotten back on the Zeppelin and started fighting because they should have known that it was coming. That's just my own personal opinion. The reason why the ninja agreed to get the reversal blade in the first place was to try to de-age Master Wu and fix him, which is admirable, of course. But at the same time, you couldn't have not seen that coming. It's a Chronix and Crux. They're not just going to let you do your thing and then just move on with their day. You know, they're definitely going to be betraying you guys, which I thought was a little too obvious, and it's a little disappointing to, notice that Kai and Nia were just super confused over it. Like, what? You would betray us? How could you? Well, it's because they're bad guys. Like, what did you expect? These are some of the baddest bad guys we've seen in a while. They're not just going to let you, again, fix your master who, betrayed them in the past and fought against them. They're not going to let you do that. So I just thought that was a little awkward. Otherwise, even though the stories are pretty interesting, I couldn't help but find the episode that I couldn't help but find that the episode dragged a little bit. What I was trying to say, the episode is kind of slow in some parts, but overall, the main gripe that I have in this episode is the obvious betrayal. I thought it greatly took away from the story. It definitely pulled me out of the episode for sure. I was really invested rewatching it again, and then that happened, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, you guys should have seen that coming. But yeah, they definitely had a good reason. Both sides had a good reason. Kaya and Nia definitely were justified in getting the reversal blade. It's not like they did it just for the time twins. They did it to save Wu. Unfortunately for them, the chance to save Wu never arrived. Other than that, though, this episode is very good. Very solid, very good. I love this episode a lot. And I actually went ahead and rewatched my older review for this, in preparation for this stream, and we get to compare the scores right now. In terms of a modern day score, I decided to give it a 9. In terms of my older review, I gave it an 8, so my score went up by a point. So the Iron Doom is cool as well. We'll see more of that in the next episode, and then I'll kind of comment on that a little bit more. But overall, there's a lot of good stuff. As such, I gave this episode a 9 out of 10. That's a 90%, and I gave it an 8 out of 10 way back in 2017. Some of you guys have already started putting your scores in the chat. Thank you very much for that. Why don't the rest of you guys put scores in the chats too? We'll see how our scores compare. I see a bunch of 9s and 10s right off the bat, along with a couple 8s, anywhere from an 8 to a 10 right away. A couple more 10s. There's a 4 out of 10 in there somewhere. 9 out of 10, 9.5, a 3 out of 10. Kind of mixed. I'm seeing a couple of lower scores, but overall I'm seeing a bunch of 8s, 9s, and 10s, with a couple of 7s sprinkled throughout there as well. Only a handful of super, super low scores. Like I see a couple 3s, a couple 4s, a 5. But overall, I think it's safe to say that this episode does have a fairly high reception from the chat right now. I'd say it's getting pretty solid scores, all things considered. So yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up for the review. Of course, this episode was pretty well received. That'll pretty much do it for Out of the Fire and Into the Boiling Sea. Still hate that title. They could have just called it The Boiling Sea. I saw some of you guys suggesting that earlier. So, yeah, really long title. That's probably one of my least favorite things about the episode, but it's not, it's not the episode's fault. It's just whoever titled the episode. It's their fault. The episode itself, not going to take away not going to take away points for that. But yeah, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the season finale, Lost in Time. That'll be the last Hands of Time review, and then we will review the Ninjago movie following that. So, I think it's a good title too. It's just super long. Out of the fire and into the boiling sea. I think if they called it just, entering the boiling sea or just maybe into the boiling sea, that would have been better. Would have made the title a little shorter. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for my review. Thanks a lot for checking that out. That's not going to do it for the stream, though. We got a little bit more to talk about in terms of Q&A stuffs. Just anything you guys want to talk about. This is the part of the stream where we just get to relax and hang out. We're going to kick things off with the pilots, and then we're going to be going on from there. I'm going to be taking suggestions for images when we get a little bit closer into this. We usually let images run for maybe about 5-ish minutes, at least we try to, before we switch over to something else. So we got pilots rolling right now. Is there anything that you guys want me to talk about specifically? I really don't have a lot in terms of announcements. Is the Iron Doom on my robot shelf? It's not. The Iron Doom is unfortunately in pieces amongst my Lego collection. What I think of all the season 14 stuff going around today. I'm going to be doing videos on a couple of things. I know that we got a clip or something. I saw that when I was half asleep this morning on Instagram. But otherwise, we got like the full episode listings. We got a couple of other things. I'm going to be doing videos on it later on today. Probably uploading those even today or tomorrow, depending on when they get done. So Yeah, lots of season 14 stuff. Obviously, season 14 is going to be coming out this weekend in France and March 7th for English. So I'm not sure if we're going to be getting English subtitles to go along with the French stuff, but we'll see. Yeah, I saw some of the Cole videos as well that Lego themselves put up. I'm probably going to check those out a little later. Didn't get a chance to watch those just yet. What do I think of Thanos? Good villain in the movies. Solid motivation. Do I know about the Case Act? I do not. Do enlighten me. Yeah, lots of good stuff happening this week. Like even today, we got like the Spider-Man announcement, we got the Loki release date, and we still have season 14 coming this weekend. And for Pokemon fans, yeah, we actually do have some big announcement coming this weekend as well. Coincidentally, on the same day that season 14 is set to come out in France. So yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty busy week, all things considered. I'm looking forward to it. Lots of stuff to talk about, lots of stuff to do videos on. I'm going to be pretty busy this week. Go to jail for watching or posting pirated Ninjago episodes, for even watching them. If I watch it on YouTube, y'all go into prison. But no, I feel like that's that was pretty much set in stone prior. Like I think that's always been a thing, eh? I think they're cracking down on it a little more. But yeah, I suppose technically if you upload episodes online, technically it's against the law. Technically, you know, depending on whether or not you actually, organize something or change something to make it fall under fair use law. Other than that, yeah, people that upload episodes directly technically are breaking the law, but you know, 9 times out of 10, nothing really happens, which is what it is. Do I use Bricklink? Yeah, I've used it occasionally. I haven't used it as much in recent memory. Technically, I am saying technically a lot. Well, yeah, technically is a, technically decent word to technically use technically. You guys like Lego Technic? I like Lego Technic. Favorite antagonist of all time? Like favorite villain in anything ever, or just specific to Ninjago? In terms of specifically Ninjago villains, I'd have to say that, I don't know, I think Garmadon's a pretty good antagonist across everything. I'd say he's probably the most consistent antagonist. But in terms of my favorite villain of all time, I don't know, I'm a Transformers fan. I like Megatron. I like Soundwave, Decepticons. They're cool. Where do I get all my season 14 screenshots? From trailers. When the trailer goes up, I screenshot them through and use them for videos. Like all the screenshots that I have are specifically from trailers. So, was my first Ninjago set that wasn't a spinner. If we're talking about sets that weren't spinners, my first set was probably Zane's Ice Dragon, or the Ice Dragon Attack is what it was called back in the day. I found it on clearance one day at, I think, a Shopco. I remember telling the story on stream before. Found it on clearance at Shopco like a year after it came out for like $7, and I was like, all right, I can afford that. Usually, I was only allowed like $10 like per month because of my allowance when I was a kid. So I would do chores around the house and whatnot. So I would get like $10 a month. And coincidentally, Ninjago spinners were often $10. So I was able to go ahead and buy a spinner pretty much every month with my chore allowance or whatever you want to call it. But I found the Ice Dragon, and I was like, okay, well I can buy that in place of a spinner because it's only $7, and I can spend the remaining $3 on like a soda or something. And I think that's what I ended up doing. But yeah, it was $7 on clearance. The original set is what, $20 at retail, I want to say. But yeah, it was actually on sale for $7 on clearance. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. This was, of course, like in late 2011, early 2012. So yeah, I ordered the Hero Factory movie. In case you guys haven't seen my Instagram or my community tab, I yesterday picked up, or I got in the mail, Hero Factory Savage Planet, which is one of my favorite Hero Factory stories ever. So I was able to buy that online. Came yesterday, rewatched it. Definitely a treat. There's a rumor that season 15 will be called Seabound. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not so sure about that. I feel like a lot of people are passing that off as fact right now, for a couple of reasons why I don't think it's going to be Seabound. For one, that's a very similar title to Skybound, and I don't feel like Ninjago would do that unless we're actually getting some type of connection, again, with like Nauticon returning, which I doubt, or maybe it's going to play into Jay and Nia's stuff as well. Who's to say? Otherwise, I feel like it's going to be called something different, probably just a really rough translation. I don't think that Seabound is going to be the name of season 15. If it is, then I guess that's okay. It's a really awkward name, in my opinion. I would definitely prefer something else. I'd even take like the title The Ocean over Seabound. Yeah, if it has more Jay and Nia stuff in it, then I think that'd be cool. I just think the title itself is just way too similar to Skybound. Yeah, Skybound, Seabound. I don't know. I would have preferred something else. How come I have lots of broken sets, like sets that are taken apart? Because I can't really display every set because I eventually do run out of room. So I take them down and take them apart, and I use the parts for other stuff. Yeah, we can switch to something else. I saw a couple of people asking for season 2. We haven't done that in a minute, so we can totally jump to season 2. And then we'll switch over to something else later on. Is the postman a lad? Yes, indeed. Yeah, my Lego room doesn't exist anymore. I moved out of my parents' house and I, live in my own apartment and whatnot. And and yeah, I don't have a Lego room anymore. It's basically just combined with my studio right now. I got a couple of Lego sets around this room. You guys have seen my room tour. You would know that. Do I have Disney Plus? I do. Am I still collecting screenshots from all the seasons? I collect what I need to. Like, if I ever need screenshots for a specific video, I'll go through and do that. Otherwise, I'm pretty much good with screenshots. I have screenshots for a lot of different seasons, and it helps in making videos and also running live streams because I can, switch things up a little bit, let various images run in the background. So, I don't know, it works. I have a lot of screenshots though. I recently found a bunch more that I had taken that I had on my external hard drive that I was using for college. I found a whole bunch more Ninjago screenshots on there, so I'm really good. I'm good for a while. Do I do my videos on a computer or on iPhone? I use a combination of both. I use my phone for audio and audio editing. I use my computer for video editing, and then I also use it to basically combine together and create a video. So I ultimately use my computer to edit the video and render it and actually upload it, but my phone does play a large role in it as well. That's why my phone is very low on storage. I got a lot of Ninjago stuff on there. That's kind of crowding things up. So. Legacy J Stormfighter or Legacy Kai Fighter? Well, I don't have the Stormfighter. I picked up the Kai Fighter though, so I have to say the Kai Fighter just by default because I don't have the Stormfighter to compare. Um, favorite Spinjitzu move from a character? I like in season 8 how some of the ninja go upside down, like Zane does it. I think that's cool. I'd say that's cool. I use an iPhone. What phone do I have? I have an iPhone 11 something something. It has 2 cameras on it. That's all I know. iPhone 11 something. Let's see. Superman and Lois opinion. Haven't watched it. I know that came out last night, but I have no interest in it, so I'm probably not going to watch it. Zane must be dizzy from that. Oh, of course. I think both iPhone and Android have their advantages. I don't know. I've never been like really picky in terms of like which phone I use. I just wanted something that would be suitable for videos, and the iPhone 11 seemed like that would be it. So that's what I have. I have a cute little anime phone case too. That's sure to irritate some people. Yeah, the 11 Max Pro XS Ultra that also shoots in 4K and gives you a back massage. Yes, that one. That's the phone that I have. But no, I think the phone camera is pretty good. Like it works with making videos. Like I no longer have to use like my camera. I just use my phone camera and it works out. It's actually a lot better in a lot of ways than my actual camera, which now I just use as a backup camera in case my phone is ever out of commission or dead or anything. Thoughts on Transformers 5 music? Kind of weird when you compare it to older movies. I think for a lot of the Transformers films, I actually really enjoy the music and the soundtracks that go with it. But 5 just kind of misses the mark on everything. I don't think the music is as good as other movies. It's just really weird. Which designs of the golden weapons are my favorite? Old ones or legacy ones? I prefer the original, especially for things like the Scythe of Quakes. I don't really care for the legacy Scythe of Quakes. I prefer the original. But you know, for the shurikens and the Sword of Fire, it's the same stuff. You're pretty much just talking about the nunchucks and the scythe, which the nunchucks I think look a lot better in legacy, but the scythe looks a lot better in the original, in my opinion. Which Ninjago season lasted lasted the longest in terms of timeline? Like one season okay. In terms of which season lasted the longest, I'm trying to think of which one would, because maybe I don't know. They all pretty much happen around the same time, I'd say. Maybe season 11 because it's the longest season. Maybe that would kind of play into it. Otherwise, with stuff like Master of the Mountain, like that couldn't have taken more than like a couple of days, you know? With something like season 1, yeah, they kind of bounce in between days and episodes, but maybe season 1 was kind of like a week, if that makes sense. That's an interesting question. I never really thought about that before. There's a lot of stuff going on outside. I think the cats are playing and running around or whatever. But, you know, that's an interesting question. I'll have to think about that more. Maybe that'll be an interesting video idea. Some of you guys are asking for season 4. I saw season 8 first, so we can change over to season 8. I saw people ask for that first. My season 8 pictures are mixed in with my season 9 pictures, so you're going to be seeing a little bit of both there, you know? Why are the ZX suits called that? For Zen Extreme. Not sure what that means, but that's what it translates into. You got DX, Dragon Extreme, you got ZX for Zen Extreme. Don't ask me what that means, I have no idea. Best anime I've ever watched. I got it tied right now between Clannad and Toradora. Those are probably my two favorites. Clannad is just amazing in every sense of the word. Like beautifully animated, great characters, fantastic story. Very sad story. Legacy Bounty or Land Bounty. The Legacy Bounty as in the one that came out last year, because that one's actually not bad. It's a lot better than the Land Bounty. I don't have either of them, but I would definitely pick the Legacy Destiny's Bounty. If we're talking about the Juniors Destiny's Bounty, then yeah, I'd probably still pick that one over the Land Bounty. Yeah, season 14 is probably only going to be 4 episodes, which we have the names of all the episodes too. I'm going to be doing a video on that later on. Do I stick to anime or do I read manga too? I have a really big manga collection. At least it's big in terms of stuff that I collect. Yeah, I like reading manga. I collect a lot of it. Some of my favorite series are My Hero, at least for the manga. I like reading the manga. I think it's a lot better than the anime adaptation for My Hero Academia. I also enjoy Nishikoi, which I thought the anime adaptation pretty much ruined the story. The manga adaptation is definitely a lot better. Otherwise, some other manga that I collect are just, you know, manga adaptations of some of my favorite animes, like New Game, for example, Toradora. I collect that manga. So, yeah, the My Hero manga is fantastic. Which island sets am I going to be buying? I'm going to be picking up the Jungle Chopper Bike, the Jungle Dragon, and the Keeper's Village. Basically all of them except for the Catamaran Sea Battle, which I still have no interest in getting. But I will be picking up the 3 that I just mentioned. Have I watched the Clannad OVA? Yep, I have the full Blu-ray box set for Clannad that includes all the episodes plus the OVAs. I've basically seen everything for Clannad. I think it's amazing. At least in terms of the anime. Am I more excited about season 14 or season 15? At this point, I'm looking more forward to season 15. I think that's just going to be a better season overall with a lot more, I guess, interesting twists and consequences because the season is underwater. I am betting that some of the ninja are going to have a couple of issues going underwater. I think that's definitely going to be a thing, which I can't wait to see. Thoughts on Dwayne Johnson? He's a cool guy. Some of his movies are extremely bad, but, you know, he's a cool guy nonetheless. Thoughts on Grimlock from Transformers? Depending on which Grimlock you're talking about, I'd say my favorite Grimlocks are probably, well, G1 Grimlock is classic, but I also really enjoy the Fall of Cybertron Dinobots, and Grimlock is obviously part of that team. The Lightning Strike Correlation Force, or whatever they're called in those games. I think Grimlock's cool in that. Otherwise, I don't really care for movie Grimlock. I don't really care for Robots in Disguise Grimlock, which I kind of just pretend doesn't exist. What's my zodiac sign? Sagittarius. If you guys seen Fairy Tail, you know that the Zodiacs play a really big role in that series. Thoughts on Jay potentially dying? I'm going to be doing a video on that later today. It's already up and scheduled to go, but I don't think that Jay's going to die. I think he's going to be fine when it's all said and done. Animated Grimlock, the animated Dinobots were interesting, I'd say. There were only 3 of them, but Grimlock was still the best out of all of them, I'd say. He was the only Dinobot that I didn't have as an animated figure growing up. I had Swoop and I had Snarl, I think was the Triceratops in that series. I had those 2. Never had Grimlock. Again, like I said, I only got like $10 for allowance as a kid per month, so coincidentally, deluxe class Transformers animated figures costed $10, so I was able to buy some of those every month. Voyagers costed a little too much. Do I have a Transformers tattoo? No, but I am planning on getting one eventually. I've got a couple ideas for Transformers tattoos. That'll definitely be one that I get. I want to get something for Transformers, I want to get something for Pokemon, I want to get something for Ninjago, all on the bucket list. Right now I only have one tattoo, and it's for my favorite anime. So that's sure to upset some people. Why don't we switch over to some of you guys were asking for Prime Empire. We can run Prime Empire for a little bit. Yeah, Prime Empire is good. Opinions on Garmadon's whereabouts. Was he eaten by Wahira? I don't think he was eaten by Wahira. I just think he's kind of, off doing his own thing. I don't think they're going to be acknowledging him anymore in the series. If they do, fantastic. If not, not surprised. They should totally bring Garmadon back, though. Stop watching the show like 3 years ago. Bro, you should totally get back into it. It's, like, really good. Except for, like, season 11. Do I like Ninjago or Transformers? I like both. Favorite Pokemon season? In terms of the Pokemon anime, I think XYZ is probably the best arc in the entire Pokemon anime. Animation's fantastic, art style's perfect, the characters are actually competent. Ash isn't an idiot, so that's always a plus. Thoughts on Detective Pikachu? Really good. I like Detective Pikachu, like the movie, not the games. I've never played the games, but I like the movie. I think the movie's fun. Some of the Pokemon look very, very, very gross in live action, but most of them look good. I think they nailed how Pikachu would look in the real world. Legacy Golden Dragon or Jungle Dragon? I don't have the Jungle Dragon just yet, but judging from the looks of it, I'd say it's going to be better than the Legacy Golden Dragon. Yeah, Ash Ketchum is kind of an idiot in a lot of the seasons. Like, you can't really deny that. Especially in some of the newer seasons. In Journeys, in the most recent Pokemon anime thing, he's not that bad. I think he works as like a mentor character to the new character Go. I've only seen a little bit of Journeys, so I can't really comment on the whole series. But he seems a little bit more competent this time, definitely compared to like like Sun and Moon or Black and White, which were probably some of Ash's worst incarnations. How did Ash go from being confident in XY to being dull in Sun and Moon? I like to imagine that that Sun and Moon kind of rebooted him, kind of refreshed him, made him in a completely different character. Who knows? Favorite Kai vehicle? Probably the Kai Fighter. The Kai Fighter, I had the original growing up, ended up selling that one, but now I have the Legacy remake, and it's still really cool. I'd say the Kai Fighter is definitely a really good Kai vehicle, or the Kai's Fire Mech from the Ninjago movie, or Kai's Fire Mech from the original, from the series from season 2. The cute little Fire Mech. It's adorable. I love it. One of my favorite mechs ever. I don't know why. It's just a super cute little mech. I don't know. I just love it. Why doesn't Ash ever age? That just has to do with the Pokemon company trying to make a character that can be relatable for their target audience. So, younger kids can relate to Ash because Ash himself is a younger kid, even though I think they should totally, make him go away and bring in someone else. That could be refreshing. I don't know what I'm going to do if I wanted to get like a Ninjago tattoo. I don't know what I would do for that. I kind of want to get like maybe like some Ninjago symbols, like some writing in the Ninjago language, perhaps. I think that's a good idea. I don't know for sure what I want. In terms of like a Transformers tattoo, I'd love to get like something for Soundwave, who's like, one of my favorite characters from the series, G1 Soundwave specifically. And for Pokemon, I just kind of want to get something small, like a little Pokeball or something like that. Pythor or a Sphera. In terms of my own personal opinion, I think Pythor is a lot better. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Some of you guys want Season 4. We can totally jump to Season 4. Yeah, I don't know what I want to get for a Ninjago tattoo. Yeah, the Decepticon logo. That was something that I was thinking of too. I just feel like a lot of people have that, you know. Then again, a lot of people probably also have Pokeballs. So, who knows? Like the Soundwave cassettes. Yeah, some of them are cool. I'd say the best one is probably Laserbeak. I think that's the most iconic of Soundwave's cassettes. Otherwise, the Ravage is cool. You know, Rumble, Frenzy, whatever you want to do. I like all of them. There's not a bad one. Rat Bat's kind of weird looking, but you know, it's neither here nor there. Best average set to buy, like average in terms of like a middle price set, like somewhere in the middle. Is that an average set or just average in terms of just quality? In terms of average in terms of quality, I suppose nowadays in terms of Ninjago Legacy, the Tournament of Elements set, like the build is very average, but the minifigures are fantastic. So I'd recommend getting the Tournament of Elements Legacy set if you have not done so already. Very solid figures and very good, decent build. Not perfect, not outstanding. It doesn't wow me or surprise me in any way, but you know, it's a very average build with very great minifigures. Best set for $20. I'd say the Legacy Golden Dragon if you can still find that thing. Otherwise, now I mean the Woo's Battle Dragon from season 13 isn't that bad. That's only $20. You get a decent looking dragon and you get Master Wu. Not a bad set. Like preteens and Soundwave is the best mom. Oh, for sure. Why are old Transformers so boxy? That was just the aesthetic of the 80s. That's what they went with. I feel like that design, though, is classic, and a lot of modern day Transformers designs have actually went out of their way to replicate that. Obviously not the movies, unless you count the Bumblebee movie, which actually did pay some type of homage to the older cartoon and actually, you know, revamped those designs for the modern day while still being faithful. But no, that was just the aesthetic back then. In terms of something like Soundwave, it would make sense for him to be super boxy because he turned into a radio back in the day. So yeah, in terms of Optimus Prime as well, yeah, he would be boxy because he turned into like a flat-nosed, really boxy semi-truck. So it would make sense. I think that the Bumblebee movie definitely, you know, modernized those designs while still keeping them recognizable and classic. It definitely works better than the Michael Bay aesthetic of, you know, let's just jumble a bunch of gray metal together and then slap a random name on it. Switching over to Skybound, sure. Kind of switching a little quickly there, but you know, whatever works. Blaster's cool too. I was never the biggest fan of Blaster. I always preferred Soundwave, but Blaster himself is, you know, he's the Autobot equivalent of Soundwave. Very cool guy. Thoughts on Shockwave? I'd say the best Shockwave is actually from Transformers Prime. And Transformers Animated had a really cool Shockwave as well. I will say that. Now, Shockwave's cool though. Not my favorite Decepticon, but very solid. Do I think Crux and Acronics ever or will ever redeem themselves? Probably not, man. I feel like they're just going to be bad guys forever. We'll see what happens in these new Legacy shorts. I doubt that they're going to be redeeming themselves, though. I don't think that's going to be a thing. After the Blackout or Shintaro Whip, probably got to go with After the Blackout. I think that one's a little better than the Shintaro Dungeon Whip. Still fantastic, though. What if the Vengestone buyer was just throwaway dialogue and has nothing to do with future seasons? That'd be disappointing. That would be very disappointing if the Vengestone buyer was just kind of thrown away. If it's just like, oh yeah, you know, I was just tricking you guys, it means nothing. Yeah, I'd be sad. Favorite character from Bionicle? In terms of the original Toa, I was always more of a Pohatu fan from the 2001 Bionicle. I just always loved how he was, you know, super different from the other Toa. Pohatu himself was very unique in terms of design. I think as the series went on, they kind of made him look a little bit more similar to the others, and it made him less appealing. But I really love that original Pohatu design, especially Pohatu Nuva. Thoughts on RC and Transformers Prime? She was cool. Probably the best RC incarnation that we've had, at least in my opinion. I don't think the Vengestone buyer is just going to be like a throwaway line. I feel like that actually does mean something. We're just not going to see it in recent in these seasons in 2021. I'd imagine we'll probably pick it up next year, if anything, or we're just never going to touch it again, which would be extremely disappointing as well. Tommy Andreessen has hinted towards Vengestone being a major part of some upcoming seasons, so I don't think we're never going to see it again, you know? I'm going to make a top 10 list on sets you feel are mixed on or have mixed feelings for Ninjago. That could be an interesting idea. For the majority of Ninjago sets, though, I will admit, I'm not so much mixed on them as much as I am, like, you know, oh, this is good, this is bad, you know? Like, I can find good stuff in, you know, average sets, and I can find bad stuff in, you know, well, bad sets. Basically, with Ninjago and pretty much all Lego, it basically just comes down to, do I get this set, yes or no? If I get it, I'll like it. If I don't get it, well, then I have no interest in it. But that is an interesting idea. Pasta or noodle? Probably noodle. Or pasta. Or noodle or pasta. One of the two. Or both. What if the last element is Vengestone? That could be interesting. It would kind of play into, again, Bionicle, where, you know, stone was an element. In terms of Vengestone being an element, yeah, I could totally see that. If it is Vengestone or something to do with Vengestone, that could be cool. Maybe a power that cancels out powers. Ooh. Spooky. Season 10 picks? Sure. March of the Oni, the most underrated Ninjago season of all time. Favorite set of the 2021 Legacy Wave excluding the Gardens? If we're not counting the Gardens, then probably Zane's Titan Mech. I now have all of them. I've actually completed a Ninjago wave for the first time in a long time. So that's fun. Of course, Legacy in terms of the 10th anniversary stuff. I know there's going to be more coming out in the summer, but right now, I have all the sets. So cool. Yeah, I'd say the reverse of Amber if there was like, you know, because Amber kind of absorbs powers. What if there was a power that canceled out powers? Like disabled powers for a small period of time. It could be similar to Vengestone, like Vengestone in power form, whatever you want to call that. I'm sure if you used it on Kai, he would not be thrilled. Do I like Five Nights at Freddy's? Not really. I played the first game and I liked the first game, but I just felt like it tried too hard after that, and the fan base got really annoying after that, and it just wasn't appealing to me anymore. I like the first game though. First game's genuinely good, I'd say. Imagine being able to afford Lego. Well, yeah, you know, I don't buy Lego all that frequently, so I can splurge every now and then. Like, I don't buy every Ninjago set ever. I pick and choose what I want. First 2012 Ninjago set, like first one that I got. Well, in for Christmas of 2011, I ended up getting the Stormfighter, Jay's Stormfighter, the original, as well as I think I got the Venomari Shrine as well. I think that was one that I got. So those were the first two 2012 sets that I got. They came out in like December of 2011, I think, for you know, for the States at least. Do I think when Jay and Nia get married, Ed and Edna will reveal that Jay's adopted? Maybe. I feel like Jay would know that already, though, right? With Skybound being reversed, I'd imagine that Jay and Nia would still remember everything. I don't know if Jay's just kind of keeping it to himself, or if Ed and Edna is still going to try to surprise him with it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know. That could be fun." Um, when I saw the season 10 trailer, I thought the Omega staff was Borg Tower, and he was like 500 feet tall. That'd probably be a little more interesting than the Omega that we got. If he was extremely tall, then you know, yeah, we could totally roll with that. That'd be a lot better than the Omega that we got. Do I ship Larumi? I do. I feel like nowadays Harumi, if she were to come back, if she were to be revived in some way, I think she and Lloyd would get along. They wouldn't be at each other's throats anymore. Yeah, I feel like his parents would probably drop that on him at some point that he was adopted the whole time. But of course, Jay would already know, so it really wouldn't be that big of a surprise to Jay. Yeah, I love the season 10 intro. I think for March of the Oni, they actually had a really solid intro in there. Went through everything. And the designs are cool too. Yeah, the suit designs, absolutely. I can see why they're still being used for Ninjago even to this day. Like even for the summertime wave, we still are getting things like, you know, Legacy 1 Kai and Zane in the sets. They're definitely good universal suits that can be used for years to come until they change them again. What do I think of Transformers Cyberverse? I've seen a little bit of it. Doesn't really appeal to me. Cayenne Zane versus Todoroki. Who would win? Probably Todoroki, if we're being honest here. I think Todoroki is probably just a little bit too powerful. I think it'd be a pretty even match though. How does stone work as an element? I have no idea. Stone in Bionicle was always kind of associated with like rocks and sand and dirt and whatnot. In the reboot of Bionicle, it's kind of associated with like desert and again sand. I guess that's that. But to me, stone was always way too similar to earth. I kind of thought it was like one and the same. That'd be like having like a character alongside like the fire and earth masters. It would just be way too similar. I'd say lava is more similar to earth than fire. It's kind of like a combination of both. How old do I think the ninja are now? In terms of the ninja's ages, we don't have like an exact number to go off of here. The creators of Ninjago have basically come out and said it's just basically whatever you guys want to do. You know, whatever you guys want to say that the ninja are, however old you want to say that they are, that's how old they are. So in my head canon, the ninja are all in their early 20s. It's just my own head canon. I kind of age them up alongside myself. I'd like to think that the ninja and I are the same age. They don't seem like teenagers. They don't seem like they're around 15 or 16. They seem a lot older. So I'd say around like early 20s, at least in my head canon. Cole with a beard, that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing. We need some of the ninja to grow facial hair. Let's make that a thing. Zane's 500 and Pixel 7. Yeah, but they're robots, so that really doesn't matter. They're both not physical beings. You know, they're not fleshy. They're metal. They're robots. They're not human. Human law doesn't apply to them because they don't age like normal humans. Um, yeah. Red and blue Nia or blue and gray Nia. I think blue and gray works better for Nia than red and blue. I never really was a fan of the maroon design for Nia. Like with Legacy and March of the Oni, I feel like they kind of threw it out. So, um, do I think Garmadon's good self is in the departed realm or is inside his revived self? I think when Harumi revived Garmadon, I think what she went for was just bringing back the good. So I could totally see good Garmadon being like a separate entity still in the departed realm. If good Garmadon were to come back, then I feel like he would be a separate entity altogether from this evil incarnation of Garmadon. But I could totally see the story, doing the opposite of that, like making the good kind of present itself through this evil version of Garmadon, and in a way kind of have the good Garmadon possess evil Garmadon. I always thought it would have been super fun to have evil Garmadon but make him good. Like have him evil Garmadon on the outside, but make him the good Sensei Garmadon on the inside. That way you kind of have the best of both worlds. Like imagine like a Sensei Garmadon, but he's still his evil four-armed Oni form. That could be really cool. I don't know. I kind of just want that to happen, but unfortunately, I don't think Garmadon is going to be in the series anymore, which is a shame. Very much a shame. We can switch over to season 13, and it'll probably be what we use to round out the stream. We're probably just going to not change it anymore after season 13. So, yeah, and March of the Oni starts to regain some of his humanity and totally starts to get some of his memories back. So you could interpret that one of two ways: either good Garmadon possessing the bad Garmadon, or bad Garmadon, letting that goodness shine through him. Honestly, Garmadon is kind of, you can basically do whatever interpretation you want for Garmadon. Will Pajama Garmadon return? Totally should. Jay with a mustache or bald Kai? It'd be kind of funny if Kai went bald for a little bit. That'd be very weird. How many sets do I keep built and how many do I use for parts? Right now, I've got a fair number of sets built, actually. I've got a couple of the legacy sets, like all of the 10th anniversary legacy sets are still intact, along with a couple of other sets. Otherwise, for the most part, I mainly try to keep like temple sets together because I like to display temple sets. Some of them I take apart, some of them I use for other things. But for the most part, I have like the Gardens, Temple of Reijitsu, Temple of Resurrection, all that kind of stuff is still together. So, Kai with raised goatee. Yeah, we need the ninja to grow facial hair soon. Make it happen. If anyone, yeah, I think Cole should get a beard. Can't really imagine Lloyd with facial hair anytime soon. Yeah, they're kind of pricey sets, but, like I said, I don't really buy Lego all that often anymore. So, it kind of balances out. Does it feel weird sitting down and talking to my computer? No, not at all. This is kind of my job. It's what I've been doing for years now. So, uh, when you start it, it's kind of weird, but for the most part, it's completely normal once you get into it. With only a few minutes left in the stream, let's turn it over to rapid fire questions. Anything that I can answer in just a quick sentence or two, and then we will end off the stream accordingly. But what do you guys got for me? What do I think of Robots in Disguise? I don't like it. I pretend it doesn't exist. I don't like how it's trying to be a sequel to Transformers Prime. How is Blaze? Blaze is good. He kind of sleeps a lot. He just kind of roams around the apartment and just sleeps in different spots. Should Nia's ponytail get cut off in season 14? I think that could play into how she might look in the 15th season. I could totally see that happening. Do I have 1995 Pokemon cards? I got a couple of super old ones. I'm not sure what year they're from though. I think they're from 98, I think. Will I do season 8 next week? Yeah, with Hands of Time wrapping up tomorrow for these streams. We're going to be talking about the movie on Friday, and then we will start season 8 next week, Monday, if everything goes according to plan. If we don't, miss a day or anything like that. Our Crux and Chronic's going to come back. We're probably going to see them again in an upcoming Ninjago Legacy short, which will be airing sometime. We're not so sure. Did I hear the official name for Spider-Man 3? Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. Sounds like a good title. Will I make more live streams on non-episode reviews? Yeah, I'm planning on doing that after we get done with reviewing Season 7, the movie 8 and 9. We're going to stop at Season 9, and then we'll probably switch to live streams over to something else. Not sure yet, but I want to keep streaming because it's fun. So, do I like Lego Video? That's that new theme that's coming out where it's almost like Lego TikTok. I'm not a fan of that. I've looked into it. I am not a fan of that. So, yeah, basically my thoughts on that. Should I quit Ninjago? I wouldn't recommend quitting Ninjago. There's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. So I'd recommend sticking around, seeing what there is to see. Obviously, if you lose interest in Ninjago, it's no one's fault. It's just how it goes. I know people that have done that. What if Disney Plus had Ninjago? That could be cool, but they won't because of licensing and stuff. Lego Video steals Prime Empire designs. I didn't know that. Did I see the 3 Cole videos Lego uploaded today? I saw them in my sub feed. I have not watched them yet. I'll probably check them out after the stream gets done here in a few minutes. But I know they exist. I'll check them out in a second. So after the stream gets done, I'll probably just jump on there and watch them. Favorite character backstory. Let's talk about the ninja. I think in terms of the backstories for the ninja, I think Zane has the best one. I think Zane's backstory is just really expansive and really interesting. Otherwise, Lloyd's backstory is cool too. I like Cole's backstory, but I think Zane's is just really cool. I like Zane's a lot. Favorite Jay freak out moment. I like at the end of season 1 where he has the mental breakdown when the Great Devourer first attacks. I like that one. I think that's my favorite Jay freak out moment. My favorite mental breakdown from Jay. That should be a video. Top 10 Jay mental breakdowns and freakouts. Where is Dareth? Hopefully imprisoned somewhere. That'd be nice. Isn't the Zane now a different Zane? No, it's still the same Zane, just in a different body. Yeah, I agree. We need to see more of Dr. Julian. I would like to get an actual, figure of him. Maybe that could be nice. Maybe Lego should work on that. Favorite season after the movie redesign, 8 through 13. Season 8 for sure. Sons of Garmadon is my second favorite season. Yeah, they're all just standing around waiting for Jay to not freak out anymore. And then they're just gonna move on. I like that about Jay. I like how the ninja are just so used to him freaking out at this point that they just kind of sit and, just wait for him to be done. Very polite. Let's answer one more question before we round out the stream. We can talk about that. When will the first episode of season 14 come to Netflix? In terms of season 14 being on Netflix, I have no idea. I don't know when Netflix is going to be releasing season 14, even if they are. But eventually we will get it on Netflix. I can't really imagine that they would, keep it away from from everyone for a long time, especially if it's only going to be 4 episodes in a season. Can totally put that on Netflix whenever. But that's not up to me. I have no idea. It's basically just Netflix. So, yeah, that'll pretty much do it for the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. This is our streaming schedule. We can definitely start off the hug tradition. Spam a couple of hugs in the chat. I will do 7 times. Is that 7? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count. Yeah, it's 7. Okay, cool. This is our streaming schedule. We stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, with an episode review and a Q&A. We will update this day by day. If there's ever a day where I can't stream, I'll let you guys know via my community tab. In the meantime, that'll pretty much wrap it up for today's stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Lost in Time, the season finale for, well, Hands of Time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you guys liked hanging out and just chatting about random stuff. A few more videos coming up on the channel later today. If you want to go ahead and check those out, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for checking out this stream. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic remainder of your day. I'll see you then.